Hey, we are a little late, but we are all here. Let's get this ball rolling. Before we get into the heavy news, my first question is, how's you guys' mental health doing?
It's been a long 2 weeks for me.
Uh,
It's been a long 2 weeks.
oh, what's going on?
I had to lay my hands on somebody.
Oh, at the jail?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, people think that they can beat you up, but you swung and missed, and I hit you with a three-piece, and he hit the floor.
Wow.
So,
You had him with a three piece and a biscuit?
yes, sir. What's up, Ryan?
I'm pretty good, boys. I'm in full blown meat prep. I compete in about 3.5 weeks for the first time in years, and
Oh,
my body is holding together on scar tissue, prayers, and knee wraps still. So we're doing good.
nothing wrong with that, Doc. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now, when you competing, will it be like on social media or?
It very well could be. If there's a live stream, I'll share the link out on the Facebooks. We're connected on the socials, so I'll shoot you a link or something like that.
Yes,
But
sir.
we'll see. I'm stepping on stage, yeah, first time in years. So hopefully, I
You
don't
got
embarrass myself or for put up some good numbers for us old timers.
it. Doc, you got it. You got it. You got it.
All right. Boom. We got somebody else we landed. Now we got one more, I believe, and then we're good to go. Ryan, what's your mental health, brother?
Oh, I'm doing good, bud.
I don't think we're gonna be Steve. I don't know if you saw it last night how old it was, but he did I think he pulled something,
Ooh,
crumbled to the floor. I'm not sure it was. Uh, keep him in.
hey, Norris, your audio is chopping up pretty bad.
Yeah,
Do
you
you
going
hear
in
that
and
there,
out.
Doc?
Yes, sir. I was about to say you going like
Oh,
this, in and out, in and out.
How now? How's it now?
is this better yet?
It's better.
All right, that's on my normal spot. How's it now?
Better. Oh, much better.
All right, let me move to this. This is my normal podcast. So let me move to my spot there.
Got you.
Yeah, I was saying last time I saw Steve it was late night on IG and he did a pull and it went bad. So, so maybe the four of us.
Okay.
That's the four of us. Miss Phoenix, love doing my love.
How are you today?
I'm always how's your
You breaking up. I didn't hear you.
I'm still breaking up. Let's get closer to the router at this point.
There you go.
I gotta go upstairs closer where the router at there.
I gotta get them. I gotta get them backgrounds like y'all. I don't. I feel so out of place and everything.
How's the audio now? I'm right next to the router.
I guess we'll see as you keep talking.
Order route just in case. I don't know what maybe everything in the house now. I use Wi-Fi orders.
Oh yeah, that's breaking up bad.
Just hold it closer to you. When you were walking, we could hear.
Now, do you hear me clear now?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
This is gonna be my new podcast right here. I'm just going to hold the phone. How's Phoenix? How's your mental health doing? No, still can't hear me.
We can
I
hear
heard
you.
you that time.
We hear
Yeah, I
you.
said how's your health doing? I said how's your mental health doing?
He said, "How's your mental health doing?"
Yeah, I was talking to you.
Oh, you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Listen, it's a choppy. Maybe it's on my end. So my apologies. So how's my mental health doing? My mental health is doing fine. It's doing very well.
All right. Now we have the gang all here. The first thing I noticed this week, you know what I mean, it's been a heavy week, was we had a fake issue reported out there in the social sphere where a young lady claimed that she was not protected when she got hit in the face with a brick. Come to find out, 3 days later, she grew up off of Wellington Park and Lioness Avenue, and real victims out there of domestic violence. But the main question was that women do not feel protected from men. So, Dr. Bishop Parham, I know you work in the jail, so we're going to start with you and work our way around the circle. Do you think that men are not doing a good job of making women feel safe and protected?
Yeah. Mhm.
Please
I,
elaborate.
I feel as though that um when men step up and be real men, this is a topic. I'm sorry, I'm on a lady side on this one. When men step up and be real men and be protectors like they're supposed to be, then we will be in a better ball play, because men are not doing that. Men are not stepping up to the plate. Anytime you a man and you beat a woman, I feel as though that you need to be somewhere like Rikers Island or go out to the Pink Farm out in Arizona and let them know what you did. Because no, men are not protecting. You have a. I'm not saying all men, but very few men are protectors of women. Sometimes we got these aqua women now. They think that they're men, but still they're not men. And I think men need to step up to the plate, be who God or ordained us to be, and that was protectors of our sisters. I'll yield because I get into this too heavy.
All right, Brother Ryan. I don't know if you heard the question, so I will repeat it. Recently, in a social sphere, a young lady claimed that she was hit in the head with a brick, and she claims she was surrounded by all these men and nobody did nothing. They made her feel unsafe, but it turned out allegedly grew up off of Swellington Park and Lioness Avenue. So, are men not making women feel safe?
You on mute?
You on mute,
This
bro?
is a there we go. This is a bigger, complex question than that. Everyone should try and make everyone feel safe. She shouldn't be lying and cheating and stealing in the first place or making up tales and all that. So you take that out of the equation. Okay, let's say it's true, right? Let's just go with that paradigm for a moment, right? That's a shame, but it shouldn't necessarily fall to men or women or anybody to make anybody feel safe. If you're walking down the street and you see a victim getting hit with a brick, you should do something anyway, whether that's call the police or yell or do something like you will kind of want to take gender out of this a little bit because we should all make everyone feel more safe in today's society. And if whether it's a man, it's a woman, it's anything, if you see someone in danger, you should do something, whether that's yell, scream, pick up your phone, take a picture, like whatever you can do that's in your sphere. We should all be doing that. Now, a woman lying about it is a shame because it takes the real victims of all these kind of crimes all over the place are going to get a bum deal, or they're not going to feel safe reporting things or whatever. But we should all make everyone, as best of our abilities, feel safe wherever we can, whether you're a man, a woman, or anything. If you're a woman walking down the street and you see a woman getting hit with a brick, you should be on your cell phone calling your friend, making try, like whatever you can do. I'm not saying go in there like this, but everyone should do that regardless of their gender preference and all that sort of stuff.
Facts. Miss Phoenix, what's your opinion on this alleged brick incident? What turned out the young lady grew up off of Swellington Park and Lioness Avenue? Because all the women on social media said men ain't ish. Men
Um,
ain't ish.
it's unfortunate. Definitely because we do have real women that do experience domestic violence. Unfortunately, I was almost experienced domestic violence myself. Um, but I hate to hear that a woman lied about such a thing because there are really women that are going through something to that extent. But I do want to say something too. Sometimes, first of all, as a woman, no, for a lot of different reasons, I don't feel like women are protected as much as they should be or need to be by men. And that is not for all men. Um, but at the same time, I also understand why some men, not all, don't get involved. I've heard of incidents where men have tried to step in and end up losing their life trying to help, or hesitant to help because a woman is going to probably end right back up with that man, right? Or another instance that where that woman, you step in and that woman may turn on you for getting in between and getting involved. Now, I'm not saying one way or the I'm not saying I'm making excuses that a man should not step in and try to support, a woman or protect that woman. I think we just probably need to put our heads together as to figure out how can we do it where everybody's safe, right? How can men step in and protect women, if need be, without feeling threatened themselves, um, or even being self harm themselves. It's really hard, and even determining, even with that factor of who's lying and who's telling the truth.
Mm.
Because
The great,
sometimes we're quick to when women scream out and we're the victim, we get the most support.
mm, that is very true. I'm going to play devil advocate real quick because we talked about this yesterday, me and my nephews. And, I like to do my research. It turns
Mhm.
out a WNBA player, WNBA, Women Basketball Association, for those who do not know, actually has been abusing, allegedly, because she has not been convicted, her wives on several occasions. And she's currently serving a 10-day suspension for domestic violence. So while they were throwing the brothers underneath the bus, talking about we do not protect women, sometimes women need protection from other women. Now, I will give a personal story of why sometimes men may just say, "Hey, let me see how this situation is developing, or whether or not I can assist." Because I had an issue like that back in the day when I used to do nightclub security. We broke up a fight between some guy and his girlfriend. We handcuffed him. We waited for PG to come. PG let him go. PG police at their finest. When they don't got somebody in their back seat, they let you go for domestic violence. That guy determined that he wanted to spin the block, and he came back with aggression towards me. And that young lady that I protected was rooting for her man to win that fight. And that was very disheartening to see. I just now intervened from this guy beating your face in, and now you're cheering him on to fight. So that's why I will say, for the brothers, mind your business sometimes because it's
I,
not working.
I think that if you walk up on that situation, um, let's look at the law enforcement side. If I walk up on that situation, first of all, you're supposed to do what? Speak. And if it's that bad, you see blood, now that's a different story. But when you walk up and you speak, yo, man, hey, cut that out, whatever, whatever, whatever. If he turns on you, then you have all the right to defend yourself. Now you know how I roll out when I'm not at work. So my thing, I'ma speak about it. Now, if the sister is really getting her behind whoop, there's a difference in the action. You can tell. You can tell from help me to blah 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 nigga blah 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 that. But you can tell when somebody really needs help because if he like, I mean, hitting her and you can hear this, then I have a thing where as a man, I'm not gonna stand there and let you whoop on this woman. Now, if it's gonna have to be me and you, it's gonna have to be me and you. But it ain't gonna be me and you for more than 3 or 4 seconds. So
Mm.
I'm gonna protect that sister if I see that she's really getting her behind whooped. But if she fighting him back, hey, I'm gonna step back a little bit because she may be a boxer and she may be jabbing him with a two-piece or a three-piece. So I'm gonna step back some. But if I see her, if I see a man dragging a woman, as a man, as a father, I have a daughter, I have a wife, I have a mother. I just can't stand there and watch a man mutilate somebody's mother, somebody's sister. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Those are the facts. And then I just like it was disheartening for me when they're saying all men are potential serial rapists, and I'm just like, there have been men, whether or not they want to admit it or not. A school just now got sued for $5 million because one of their female teachers was taking advantage of the students. So there are men out there that are victims to women too. We just do not like to discuss it for whatever reason. But just because women chooses to be pieces of ish too, we shouldn't all assume that all people are pieces of ish. Then that was my problem when they said, "Oh, you ain't, all y'all ain't nothing," and that was my
I,
main issue. Maybe some, maybe a small percentage, but not all.
I
Go for
I'm
it.
gonna push away from that because see, my thing is this. Now, I'm just meeting my sister, Marquita down here. She may not like me after I say this.
She may or may not. You may never know. Speak up.
My thing is this, and Ryan know how I am on Facebook. I just go raw. My thing is this: when we look at what's modest apparel, there's a difference in you are being 16 or 14, acting like you're 21. Now, I'm not saying people supposed to be raped or girls or women are supposed to be raped, but sometimes females put themselves in that position. We 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 say what we don't want to happen, but when you 14 looking like you 22 years old and your vigor and your speech is on that level, you approach a man and now he wants more than just child talk. Then my thing is this, and I say this to the people at where I work at. Where were you when your daughter was out here hoe hopping? Where was you when your son was out here toting his gun and he killed somebody? Where
Mhm.
was you? Where was you when your daughter went clothes shopping? So if you're, now I'm not saying it's something that should happen, but I'm saying we as parents need to police our children a little bit better because guess what? One thing for certain, two things for sure. What happened yesteryear is not what's happening this year, and we as parents have to do that. We have to. We have to. We have to. We have to take a stand for tell our kids, no, you're not going to wear that. Oh, well, that's her room. No, no, no. Baby, you don't pay no bills. This is not your room. I'm going through your drawers. I'm gonna see what's in your closet. And I think if the average parent would do that, a lot of this stuff would change because the dress attire is going to change. If a parent is a parent, if a mother is a mother and not her child's friend,
Mhm.
I yield.
Any rebuttals?
Um, Not very much on my end as far as a rebuttal. As to that, I'm very big on and agree with parents being in the home and engaging with your children and um, having conversations with them, watching, kind of what they're doing, what they're wearing, and different things of that nature. You definitely should be present, but not only being present, you should also be setting the example. Now, as far as it relates to young women dressing a certain way, and they are 14, 16 years of age, but they may be dressing like they're 21 and 22. Absolutely, they're going to be looked at probably as like grown women and lusted after by grown men. That happens. You're absolutely correct. And I even agree. No, it shouldn't. They shouldn't be dressing like that. Um, but I will say is, are we asking questions? Some of these young ladies look young in the face. I remember when well, I was old enough, but I was 25 years old and I still look like a kid. So if I still
Mm,
look like a kid in the face, do you ask age? Do you ask to see identification? Some of these
mm.
young ladies are built like a brick house. They're built like grown women as
That's why I
well.
said yesteryear is not this year. Exactly.
And with so much
Exactly.
going on, it's like, do we still make that excuse as to because of what people are wearing? We still have to take some accountability and still ask questions. You take the time to get to know one another. We can't just look at a body and just say, I want that body.
Mm.
Mm.
Sometimes you could tell by the mentality when you're talking to someone.
That's a
That
good
tells you
point.
their age.
That's a good point.
So I get it, but there's also ways around it. If you're serious enough about making sure you don't get caught up in being called a pedophile. I'm gonna give you a story, a quick story that just happened recently this summer. I have three young adult children. I have a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 24-year-old. The youngest is a boy. I absolutely do. My two youngest ones are in college. My daughter, the middle child, she's 21. She's finishing up her last year, her bachelor's degree. This is her last year. My son, he's 20. He's finished. Well, he's in his junior year. But my youngest son, he goes around the corner up the street to play, basketball during the summer. That if he can't get to the gym to work out because he plays football. So, but if he can't get to the gym to work out, he finds ways to still remain active. So he'll go to the court and shoot basketball. He came home one day and he said, Mom, I don't know if I want to go back up to the court and shoot basketball. And I said, why? He said, a 15-year-old girl tried to talk to me. And I said, well, what did you do? He said, I told her no and what my age was. And she said she didn't care. And, I felt really bad for the young lady because it's like, where's your parental guidance? But my
Mm.
son was distraught behind the situation. He didn't even want to go back up there because he knew that was inappropriate. He knew, and when he found out her age, he definitely wouldn't, touch her. Um, I applauded him on that. That's good. And definitely stay away because you will be in jail if you had pursued that any further. But my point is that even on the male side of things, me being a mother, he knew better. He knew to ask questions. And when she told him her age, he was like, oh no.
Mm.
It made him feel uncomfortable.
That's what I'm
So,
talking about.
so there is we all have to take some accountability, even with the young ladies, but we have to all take some accountability for men to make ensuring that you are talking to young ladies or women that are of age, whatever tactics that you need to use, whether you're taking your time to have conversations, whether you're asking to see identification, whether you are asking even age, right? We have to take accountability as parents that we're doing our due diligence as parents in the home, not just teaching our young ladies, but also our young men as to why
Mm.
this, is not appropriate. So
That is
It's a fact.
that's a good point. Ryan, any rebuttals before I moved on?
A little bit. I agree. It starts with the parents and setting the proper example in the home. It was fantastic to hear that story because you set the example and your son acted accordingly. But
yeah.
and that's wonderful. But it should be started with the parents, absolutely. But it shouldn't matter what someone wears. Like I am
No, it shouldn't.
46 years old, and never once have I whipped my shit out inappropriately. Never once have I done any kind of indecent act that wasn't in a consensual environment. Never once have I done anything like that. And it shouldn't matter if a girl's walking down the street naked. It doesn't matter. Act with respect. Treat them with respect. Like there is no excuse. If some girl's in a hoochie shorts and a freaking bra top, Who cares? What's the difference? That doesn't mean you can't treat them with disrespect. That doesn't mean you can't go up on them. That doesn't mean there's some hollerback girl, or I'll use these young people terminologies or whatever, right? You know, the Canadian guy up here trying to be down with the lingo, right? But it shouldn't matter. And I think that example starts with the parents. If the parents conduct themselves accordingly, guess what? You're going to have rebellious kids here and there, but they're going to end up acting accordingly. So it really starts the responsibility, the onus is on the parents, and the next it's on the child, or the daughter and the son, or the men, then the women. It doesn't matter. When did people stop treating other people with respect in all situations as the default, as the number one? None of that shit matters, like what they're dressed, what they're wearing, what they're doing. And the women or young girls should know how to conduct themselves. And if their mamas are setting a good example, they will conduct themselves properly. Young men shouldn't be like, I have never whipped my shit out once. So like what, like there's no excuse, like there, like that. So where is this all coming from as we move forward in this, like where is it all coming from? And I think it starts at home, and then it's the media, and then these other factors. But it doesn't matter what you're wearing, how you're acting. Treat people with respect and set an example for others.
Absolutely.
I
The
think
basic foundation. Respect.
I think that when, like, the environment that I work in, I have caseloads over here on my show, and I can't really tell you who did what or what, but when I go through and when I talk to these kids, I had a 12-year-old. Okay, he raped somebody. 12 years old now.
Mm.
Um, I look at a female, like the Pope said about um, women beating on women. At a 16-year-old girl killed somebody point blank range, shot him twice because he touched another girl. What I meant by the clothing is this, and you're right. A, but let me put a little spin on that. A mature man, okay, will know better. But you got these ones out here now who call themselves thugs, and all they want to do is get something, some punani, and call it a day. So a mature man will know what to do. But you got these ones out here now, they don't care. They don't care about the age. All they want to do is they get that nut off and keep it moving. So when they see a young lady that's dressed like that, you 12 years old, just because you seen somebody in a bathing suit, that don't give you the right to put your little tallywhacker in there. That's what I mean by the way they dress. I sing gospel music. I travel the world. I just got back from Chicago. Walking through the airport, me and my assistant, we were sitting down talking about people walking past. I seen a female sagging. I said, ugh, that's trifling. So it's like I look at how people are dressed, and the Pope will tell you, oh, I dress to impress. You know, that's to me. Tailor-made suits, but to watch a female, all this showing, she got tattoos all over here, and I'm like, wow. I wonder what her parents say about that. But you got the ones who on the street, they see her as a trophy, as a dime. And when they see that in the hood or wherever they may be, she becomes somebody's victim. And I'm not saying it's appropriate or it's the thing to do, but it's like I said, a mature person will look at that and be like, oh no, that ain't it. But you got these one out here, they like prey. They're gonna prey on these little girls.
Yeah,
I
but
understand.
again, I'm sorry. But again, that still starts with at the home. Like I said, even having conversations with your young men. You still have to have conversations even before my son went off to college. And I didn't mean to cut you off. I do
No,
apologize.
you
Um, we had a conversation about gang rape, um, young women getting, drunk, and different things like that. We had all types of conversations. I felt it was necessary because we don't have those unfortunately sometimes parents don't have those conversations, and then sometimes their children end up in those situations.
you know, my father is Jamaican, and my father talked. There was no such thing as called the birds and the bees conversation with my father and the boys. There was no
Mm-hmm.
such thing as the birds and bees. My father was just raw. He says, "What you have is a dick. She have a pussy. They call it punani in Jamaica." He said, "At the end of the day, if you think that you're gonna go out here and put your dick in somebody else's pudding, somebody else's punani. He said it's not pudding, it's a vagina. He said, if you think you're gonna go out here and do that and get somebody pregnant, he said, let me tell you this. The day you get somebody pregnant is the day that your address changes.
Mm.
That's how my father was with all his kids. And I had a brother who tried to challenge that word. My brother was 16 years old. My father kicked him out of the house.
Well,
There are no more men or not. We had a talk about this a couple few months ago about men being incarcerated, and I had to do my homework because I'm looking at the number of us that are in prison and they got children on the street.
Mm.
You got how you got over 57% of houses in America with African American families in it, and the fathers are incarcerated. So at the end of the day, the father is not at home. The mother trying to do the best that she can, but she can't raise that man or that boy because the streets is raising them. So it's like we have to figure out in society what we can do to change this. Social media has taken over. People now more. They relieve more in Google than they do in God.
Mm.
And see, I see this, and I just get frustrated because I'm like, who will lead us tomorrow? Who will lead us tomorrow? Everybody want to have a gun now. I told a kid one day. He said, "Well, Bishop OG, I'm gonna have to run up on you." I said, "Look, you carry your Glock. I'm gonna carry my 50, and we'll see how this turns out." He
Good.
said, "You." He said, "You can." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Don't play with me." I said, "If you come at me, you better come correct." So
Good.
we need more men that's gonna talk to these boys like men. That's what we need. And that lab podcast that we had, I was hoping that we all as men could have went together and went to Canada to address some issues. Go to Chicago, address some issues. Go to Alabama, address some issues. Because you know
mm,
what? We need men who gonna stand up and be men. We have to stop patty caking everything. Stop putting peanut butter where you need to put concrete. Let me shut up, cause y'all. I'm too passionate, y'all. I'm sorry, but I just we as men need to step up to the plate.
We got Mr.
Yes,
Jack.
sir.
Tardy as ever.
All
Late
good,
as
bro.
ever.
We just we just not really getting into it. Our
Yes.
next question. I noticed I was on TikTok and they was like 1960s. President Kennedy mandate was every child had to be physically fit to a certain standard. So what happened in such a short amount of time, and now we do not have those standards?
When I was a kid, we used to do the hanging on the bar, how many pull-ups you could do, how far you could reach to your toes. Do they even do that anymore?
No.
no.
That is crazy. I don't even think they do physical education anymore, do they? Do they do PE, or is it just for people to be in the auditorium and smoke pot? I don't
It's an
know.
elective for most
Say
people
elective.
now.
Yeah.
When in schools that still have physical education, it's an elective. It's not mandatory anymore. If they even still have it, like you choose to take gym class or play a sport, but I don't think it's mandatory. At least it's not up here.
That's crazy.
Dr. Bishop Parham, you deal with the youth. So how do you feel about in 1960s we had a presidential mandate that every child had to be up to physical fitness standards. And somehow, some way we lost our way. And maybe that's why we got some of the issues we have now because these children don't have a positive outlet for that anger.
Well, what happened? Like I said, what happened back then is not happening today. You're right. You can go to the average high school or junior high school. Well, now they call them middle school. But and if you find a gym class or you find a class that's called quote unquote PE or gym, and you find more than 25, 50 kids in there, I'll take off my hat to you because nobody wants that as a class. As long as I'm playing football, I'm good. I'm on a track team, I'm good. And if you was a swimmer like me, hey, I was a state champ. I did what? I sat up on the bleachers doing pool. So kids today, let me just play basketball so I could be the next LeBron James. And that's all they want to do.
Mhm.
Point blank. Or Kobe. That's what they say. Kobe all the time. Kobe.
God bless the dead. God bless the dead. Miss Phoenix.
Um, so the agency that I work for, one of the things that we do, we partner with schools, some of the with educational system. Um, so I'm able to go into some of the schools to see what's going on with that physical education piece. I have seen where there is some schools that are still um, doing physical activities with the youth, but not many. Not many. The physical, phys ed now is a classroom setting for the most part, or just a or just hangout time frame. Whereas I remember when I used to go to the gym, we had to do something. We had swim, we had we even played games, but it was physical activities. Whether it was oh my God, what is when you take the ball, you
Dodgeball.
dodgeball. Thank you, dodgeball. We doing jumping jacks. We exercising. We used to have. I remember one time we even had the rope in
Climb
the
up.
class.
Let's see how many
Climbing the
kids can
rope.
climb that rope today.
0%.
Yeah, and it's sad to say, probably not many, right? Um, so yeah, I do see for the most part. Whereas if you're joining a team, that's where they're getting their physical activities from. Um, but as far as their gym class or phys ed class, it's not what it once was.
It's very, very factual. Personally, I just find it sad that I mean, we're letting these small issues, distract us from the bigger issue. And the only thing you truly own is your body. And you have to take care of the one engine that you have. Speaking of taking care of your body, I had my health assessment today. No, my question to the panel, because, Father Time is very undefeated. When's the last time you had a health assessment and how was it for you? Anybody can jump in.
I had my body fat taken recently, and that was like 16%. So I mean that's pretty good for my age. So I was pleased with that. My blood pressure is okay. So, I with medical insurance being so high and everything like that, I try to avoid the doctor like the plague.
Well, I had mine about 3 weeks ago. My BMI was over the scale. Um, for my height and age and stuff. 30 was 31. Um, I wasn't. My sugar wasn't high. Blood pressure was a 126 over something. And other than that, um, being in my line of work, as long as you can walk up 6 flights of steps, run up and walk back down, run up and walk back down, 10 push-ups, and they got that 50-pound dummy. They say you good to go. But I'm gonna say this, and y'all gonna laugh at me. After I got the gastric bypass, I got titties and I got a little bit of pudge. So other than that, I'm good to go.
There we go.
Ryan.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Phoenix.
Ryan.
Listen, go ahead. You threw me off a little bit when you said you got titties. So, listen, it's all right.
But they
I
call them
got them
pecs
too,
or
but that's
something.
okay. That's okay. We have some common here. That's all. It's all good. Go ahead.
Ryan, we know you got that good medical down there. So have you had?
It's okay. So let me clear something up here. Canada, we prepay for our Medicare on our taxes. So there's a big difference. The standard of care up here is lower than the standard of care down there. So I have prepaid when I go to the doctor. It's not free. I look at my check and I see exactly where I'm paying it because our taxes are here up. I just wanted to clarify that it's not free. Comes off my check at a much higher tax rate than down there, and the standard of care is lower because it is provided for tax dollars. So I just wanted to say that, like, it's remarkably difficult where I live to even get to a doctor, to go to one without waiting in lines, queues, months for surgery, you know, whatever it is, right? Yes, I don't technically pay for it. It's prepaid, but it's not quite the hunky-dory socialist utopia of Medicare up here, guys. Okay. Right? But in terms of my own health, um, I have the standard middle-aged guy thing. My blood pressure's a little high, cholesterol's a little high. But I got to look at it this way. I'm improving all that, and I'm turning 46 soon, and I almost have abs, and I'm 230 pounds. So we're going to say I'm doing okay, and I'm going to compete at a very high level in just a couple of weeks. And I used to be on Team Canada, so I'm okay that way. But it takes a lot of work. I always work at it, and I didn't used to. I used to be super fat, so you know, this was all like a big health crusade. And it goes back to the earlier conversation with the kids in gym class and everything. We know scientifically the connection between physical activity and mental health and well-being, and being healthy physically leads to being healthy mentally, and vice versa. And exercise, even if it's just walking, it blows my mind that they're canceling gym classes everywhere. It blows my mind that people aren't up in arms about kids not getting enough exercise, when the science is there to say, hey, if you even walk 20 minutes a day, you're in a better spot than if you're just sitting there on your controllers and all that. Like, even, you know, gym class doesn't have to be climbing ropes like it was in the 60s, or you got to run a 5K. But man, walk around the track, do hiking class, go curling. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it blows my mind, the lack of physical activity in the population, when we know even the most mild physical activity is good for you. So, like, my personal health is good as can be for a middle-aged guy who eats pounds of meat a day and lifts and power lifts for fun. But you know, I think everyone should be working on a little bit, even just going for walks, man.
Miss Phoenix, have you had a health assessment, and how did it go for yourself?
July, and low iron. So working on that a little bit as far as physical activity. I try to get to the gym as much as possible. I'm gonna be honest, maybe the last month and a half, maybe, I haven't been at the gym as much as I used to get there, but I'm trying to pick it back up as far as physical activity. But right now I'm dealing with just the iron situation. So and I will be still considered overweight, but for a woman, it's not considered overweight, I guess. But you know, in the eyes of the doctors, I'm considered overweight. You know, that BMI index. I'm a little over
That
it.
one kills me. Last time I was at the doctor tells me I'm morbidly obese, and I said, okay, let's both take off our shirts and then reassess that situation, bro.
Yeah.
And you know,
It's the worst.
and I'm older than my doctor too, so it's like, I'm like, yeah, you put that BMI away, buddy, until you can get on the bench press with me, or we'll go run laps right now and see what's up.
I think me, Ryan, and Jack are all clinically and technically morbidly obese. And if that wants to give any obese person a little inspiration, I mean, that's a little hope. At the end of the day, I think my BMI today was like at 34. I'm currently at 250, and I'm just like, there's nothing I can do. So yeah, it's just is what it is.
I need help. I ain't gonna lie. I need help.
Yeah, it just is what it is. All I can, I wouldn't recommend any the three of us do, but I would tell people who do want help, like Ryan said, I would recommend just go for a good walk and lift light weights, and you will be perfectly fine.
All you
Now,
need is a pair of
I would
dumbbells.
definitely say you got to monitor your food intake too, what you're eating.
yeah,
Eat things in moderation. Increase your water intake. Um, Eat high fibers. So there's some other things too. So it's
Protein.
if I remember correctly, I think it's like 70% what you eat and 30% physical activity,
yes,
something
ma'am.
like
That makes sense.
that effect.
Percent
So,
phys-
hmm?
yeah, 70% in the kitchen, 30% what you actually do in your life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I dropped 30 pounds just by changing my diet. I was doing the powerlifting still, but just by eating more clean and taking out a lot of sugar and a lot of, you know, saturated fat and trans fat, and just eating less processed food, I just shedded weight. It was amazing.
Yeah. Now, if you ever want to become a crazy psychopath like the the three guys on this stream who does this for our funsies. Hey, come on over this side of the fence. It's not fun over here though. it's not, it's
Yeah,
not
my SI joint is hurting right now.
yeah,
Oh my goodness
it's,
gracious.
it's no fun. It's not funsies over here. Speaking of, I just now set a goal for myself and that's terrifies me. So has anyone set any type of goals that's like truly when you say it out loud, it shakes you to your core? And what is that? We may help someone else along the way. Who wants
A
to
goal
I'll
first?
go
that's,
first here.
that you said.
No.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ryan.
All right. Well, I was just going to go first. I'm competing for the first time in 3.5 weeks in a few years due to a string of severe injuries. And I've sent you I sent you a message there. I've been scared shitless every time I've walked up to the squat rack for the last while. And because my body hasn't been tested like this, I squatted 565 the other day.
Wow.
And I've squatted in the sixes before, but there's been several broken bones, surgeries, tears. Like I am literally held together with knee wraps and a prayer. And there's that little prayer goes up every time I walk to that squat rack that it's not the last time or my body crumples under it. So it was an interesting thing. And I want to try and squat 600 pounds at this meet for the Canadian record for my age and weight category. But every time I see that barbell with that many plates on it, scared shitless. And I still do it. So that's the, wherever you're at, wherever your goals are, right? You got to mold that fear.
Yeah, no.
Next, what's your goal and hear you to your core?
600 pounds. I'm sorry. I'm stuck on that.
I had 407 on my back the other day, and that terrified me. Yeah. So I couldn't imagine over 500 pounds. I want to get there someday. But, man, like just squatting that with the pain I have in my hips, I could not imagine.
Miss Phoenix, what's your goal before I jump out there and tell everybody my goal? What's your goal that scares you right now?
Finishing my second book.
Hey, that's what's up. Now, why does that scare you?
Because it's the first one was based on my life, and the second part is still about my life, but more so going into my young adulthood. And sometimes when you're telling a story, you don't know who it's going to hurt. So that is my fear right now. I'm nowhere near or close to what y'all doing as far as 400 and whatever on the back and squatting 600 pounds. I'll let y'all have that. I'm going to stick to my little 15-pound weights.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, I received that.
I'm going to stick to my little weights.
Just like Ryan Jack, I'm absolutely terrified. I'm 20-some pounds away, and my goal for this meet in December is a 440 squat, and I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm trying to run from it. And Ryan, I told him on this very podcast with the rest of the guys that I would never squat or deadlift. And I believe Ryan remembers that. And look at me now. Look at me now. Putting 425 on the back and hoping for the best. So, therefore, I am totally terrified of my upcoming goal, but it's refreshing to have something to look forward to. It absolutely terrifies you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's exciting. I'm getting ready for nationals in probably like a week. It's the 24th. So I'm looking to take some state and national records there because the WRPF cleaned out the records. So this is the first actual meet where records can be set. So that's really exciting for me, but I'm dreading maybe getting injured or, pulling something on one of my deadlifts. So, I'm just trying to keep it together. I got my duct tape ready. I'm going to tape myself up and just go in there and do what I got to do.
My last question or last thing I wanted to put out there, I noticed in the hip hop space that we recently had a kerfuffle where someone invited another hip hop person into their marriage, and that person did something inappropriate by low key flirting with the wife. So my question, because I have people on here, married,
You cut out at the perfect time.
something something popped up on TikTok and it took me out my stream. I noticed they brought that person into their marriage. Not saying no name, Tyrese. Yeah. So not saying no names. So when it's time to invite someone into your marital problems, who do you invite into those problems, and how do you know you can trust them, not to low key try to flirt with your spouse? Dr. Bishop Parham.
Well, first and foremost, um, when I do that type of counseling, don't allow a person that's not married to counsel you. That's
Mm,
first and foremost. Because to me, I don't care how much psychology I know. To me, it's going to be one sided. So if if I'm counseling a man and a woman, I'm going to have my wife with me just to be there to give an opinion, to collaborate what I'm saying. But you don't ever invite A and B, and then you got just C there. You're gonna have to have somebody else there, and I'm never gonna invite nobody to counsel me. That's not married. That's not that don't have some sense of godliness in their spirit. I'm
mm,
not gonna do it. So I mean, I know people do it all the time, but me, if you're not married and you out here finagling yourself all around, you can't counsel me.
mm,
You can't counsel me because you got six baby mamas. You can't counsel me because now there's some unstableness going on in your mindset. So I bring my wife before you. She looking like a caramel Sunday and ready to be licked and swerved and drunk up. And now what you want to do? You sitting there saying, "Okay, Negro, you shut your mouth. Let me hear what you have to say." That's all I'm gonna say. I
mm.
yell.
Ryan.
I agree a little bit with if you're, trying to get some couples counseling or asking friends advice and different things like that, that they should probably be married or have their heads on right. I always look funny when some of my friends or associates or whatnot have, trying to give marriage advice when they're on their fourth baby's mama and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not listening to a word you say. Um, but at the extent of it as well, with myself, I trust my wife implicitly. Some fool tries to flirt with her, she'll handle her business, right? Like, we're happily married. Doesn't mean we don't argue or don't get into, disagreements or, things like that. But I trust her implicitly. She does with me. So it shouldn't be an issue, or your issues are deep if some rando is flirting with your wife and it goes beyond even mild flirting. Like, there's deeper issues. Maybe you should go to some real counseling at that point. Or is your marriage done at whatever point when that becomes a great concern? Like, you got to have trust. That's the whole foundation of being a proper couple. And if you trust each other, my wife would just laugh at the fool who tried to flirt with her. And, it does help when we all joke about powerlifting and all, whatever. It does help that I'm giant and covered in tattoos, I suppose, as well. Like, you flirting with me, you've seen what my husband looks like, right? But really, at the end of the day, I trust her implicitly, so it wouldn't matter to me so much. But I would lose my respect for that person or that friend that completely and utterly that tried to do that, though.
Mm. Miss Phoenix, I'm pretty sure people always come to you with their problems. So how do you know
Oh,
us
all the
being
time. Um, Sometimes you just don't know. I definitely agree as it relates to friends or family, maybe being cautious as to if they're not married, um, not maybe seeking counsel. However, you maybe even also being careful of those who are married, especially if they've had multiple marriages. Sometimes you got to ask yourself, what's even going on with that, and no judgment. But I would say more so seek professional help if you're having some marriage difficulties. Um, you just never know, and I am aware of that. I heard about it this morning, actually, about that incident where they trusted someone. I'm assuming that he might have been married at the time. Um, I'm not sure, but they trusted him, and he took advantage and tried to, and was very appropriate. Um, that's a hard one. All I have to say is you just seek professional counsel more than anything, um, because somebody gonna get hurt.
Good point. Jack.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing worse than betrayal. And
Mm-hmm.
that is why, when you get married, you have to do a thorough vetting process with that person. You have to be dating them for several years. You have to be living in the same house with them. You have to get past that honeymoon period where everything's all great, because then there's that period afterwards where you're dealing with real life stuff, real life emotions, real life insecurities. You find out things about them, maybe that they didn't even know about until you were married. Things come up. And so you have to build that foundation before you have a marriage. And if you don't have that foundation, it's going to fall apart. And, it's really dependent on how strong of a foundation you built. I'm still working on that. I'm a work in progress when it comes to my marriage and relationship. I'm still learning about it. I'm not the best. If someone came to me for marriage advice, I would be like, maybe I'm not the greatest person to do it because I have a ton of faults. But that's life. You stumble through it, you make mistakes, and you learn and you grow and you get better. And if you don't get better, then you go your separate paths. But it's all about building that foundation. And the problems come, the betrayal comes, the cheating comes when there's not a strong foundation.
Facts. All right,
Let me
before
say,
we
can
wrap,
I say one more thing to what he
sure.
just said. Um, Definitely, you can learn from experiences though. So sometimes we can offer things if you've had experience of certain things that you can share of, especially what not to do or what may be helpful. Um, Another point that I want to make with that is when, as you're a couple, you're in marriage, and you're married, and you are seeking counsel, whether it is professional or unprofessional, do it together. Because I think that incident also, what the Pope was talking about, um, the wife developed a friendship with this person outside of the husband.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gave him that window to say what he needed to say inappropriately. But if you are doing it together, then that's that.
That's
No.
Good point. Yeah, that did give him a window to be, what I mean, to say what he allegedly said, because we have no proof. What I mean, can only go by what the young lady said, and if all things are true, Tyrese Gibson, you got some work to do, brother. That's all we got to say. Now we got to close this out with a funny story because we always keep it heavy, but we got to close it out with a funny story. I was on TikTok recently, and a young lady posted a video saying after she's finished her business in the bathroom, she does not wipe.
I saw this. Oh
I
my God.
just want to
So
know
disgusting.
who's on team wipe and wash, or at least just give a courtesy wipe. I just need to know. Who's on team white?
I do the wet wipes and the toilet paper. I do both.
I just want to know. I need to make sure who I'm circling my friendships around. Are we wiping properly after we're done with our business? I need to know. I need to know so I can sleep good tonight.
Oh, no.
None of
I have
the above for
certain
me.
things
I
that I
have
want
a
to that I
bidet.
haven't.
We're getting
Killing me,
personal.
Norris.
We're getting real personal.
And anyway, what are y'all doing anyway? Get a bidet. Get a tushy from Amazon, man. Just clean that properly, man. Like, Norris, here, you want a funny story? Okay, here's for you. If you got a piece somehow of shit in your mustache, right? What would you do? You'd probably freak out and have a shower and scrub your face, right?
Yes.
So when you do your business down there, you take some paper and just smoosh it around.
No, I take a shower after.
You see, no, but you see what I mean, right?
Actually,
So,
I have a shower policy afterwards.
but see what I'm saying? That's why you go on Amazon and you get what's called a tushy, or you get a bidet and get a proper European toilet, and you clean yourself after every business meeting. You know what I'm saying, right? I don't know what you guys do down in the south there, but up here,
You know what? I have to jump on another meeting. I'm gonna let you guys have this one. I'm done. You all have a great evening. Thank you for having me as always. This conversation,
God bless.
No,
that's for
Miss
y'all.
Phoenix, don't go.
I got to go anyway, so that was perfect ending. Perfect ending for me. Gentlemen,
God
y'all
bless.
have a great evening.
God
All
bless
right.
you.
Bye.
Oh God.
Before we wrap this up, please give your social media info, guys.
All right. Well, I finally got the TikTok down. So I think it's star 6169, and I also got my Instagram and I forget what I forget what the tag was, but you know you're always on there. So 30. I think it's 3934 star 3934. So you can check me out on either of those.
Dr. Bishop Parham, please get your information out before we wrap this up.
I'm Dr. Fulton Parham on Facebook. Um, I'm about to record in December, and I was told from the record label that I need to be on all the social media platforms. So I'll be getting a TikTok, Instagram, and whatever else is out there. But right now I'm just on Facebook.
When you get on TikTok, you're gonna be in a very interesting place. Don't follow me because I bring all the smoke on TikTok. I cares no F's on TikTok. I hurt a lot of feelings, but it's okay. It's okay. It'll be okay. You know what I mean? But don't follow me on TikTok for your own best interest of your mental health. Ryan, where can people find you at?
you guys can find me mostly on Instagram at the Welfare Gourmet. So the Welfare Gourmet is my Instagram, and it's lifting weights, traveling the world. I'll be, got a meet coming up, and I'm also traveling to the South Pacific in a couple of months in Vegas. And other than that, I travel the world, lift weights, and have fun, boys. So that's on the Instagram.
Awesome.
And the Facebook's for politics and other things like that, but the gram is my main one there to get a hold of me on. So the Welfare Gourmet, you guys will find me. And it's everything about the meat prep right now.
Yeah, and hey, both of you guys, good luck with your meets coming up. I'm gonna really prepare for mine. And let's all be injury free. God, please.
Yeah. Speaking of injuries, just hope for the best for Steve because once again,
I saw that.
I saw that video and it looked fine. So that's hope for the best because it looked bad. It looked real bad. So
his back seat's up, right?
yes, it looked bad. So let's pray it wasn't nothing too serious. But this guy I know it will do a full meet and next 2 days later be back clinging and banging heavyweights again. So maybe like the time to just take a little break. I mean, let the body heal and then come back strong again. But yeah, it didn't look good. So hopefully it's something minor. You know what I mean? That's all hope for that. So yeah, that's all try to stay injury free. We will do this again sometime after the new year. And because I'm gonna have to lock in. It's time. It's time. Ain't no playing around. I have to lock in. So it's no time to be playing around and bull jiving. And the way Kevin has been driving me, he's trying to drive me over the edge, and he doesn't care no F's. So,
yeah, you're doing great. He's doing a great job with you, by the way. You're doing awesome. I've been seeing your progress. It's amazing.
If anyone has any questions of whether or not Kevin's a good coach, just reminder: 2 years ago, I stated, and Ryan was there when I stated it, I will never squat or deadlift. He has run my squat from my last meet from 350 to 425 So therefore, if you have any questions about Kevin coaching ability, I suggest you sign up. I'm just minding my own business, but I will say he's doing an outstanding job. He's very honest. He's very frank. So if you can't handle someone being totally honest with you, maybe he's not for you. But if you can handle honest criticism, he's a pretty good coach. All right, let's get up out of here. I will see you guys after the new year. But of course, we'll see each other on Facebook and all the other social media platforms. And you can follow me underneath a Dear Unk on all platforms. But you come to TikTok with some foolishness, you might as well just not follow me because it's not going to be in the best interest of your mental health. It's not going to be in the best interest of your mental health to follow me on TikTok right now. But everywhere else, we're pretty cool. We'll see you guys again. Salute.
All right.
God
So
bless you guys.
God bless you guys. Have a good one.